the later the night went, it's getting really late. The restaurant's closing. We're at a 5-star restaurant. We have already eaten dinner. They were supposed to be here for dinner. I'm looking at the Yankee game. Yankees are losing. I'm a Yankee fan. So now I'm getting more and more pissed off. So now by the time these guys walk in, I had this different persona about me. And I used it. So, and I had complete control of myself by then. And I was like, all right, I'm going to use this to my benefit. And Nick, you know, my buddy that was doing the deal with me, he was like, hey man, listen, you know, you guys are late. Well, can we order food? He said, no, this is Giovanni. And he went to introduce me. And I just kind of gave a side eye, like a gangster would do. And the kid reaches out his hand to shake my hand. I'm not even shaking your hand. You get me sitting here for 3 hours. Get out of here. And I had this, now I turned it up to 100. Get out of here. Yankees will lose and you got me sitting here like a jerk. Now you want to eat dinner? Yeah, you know what? Here, dessert just came out and it's melted pie a la mode with ice cream and apple pie. And I said, here, you could eat this. And I slid it down the table. And I said, this is what you waited for? And I start yelling at my friend. And it was all an act. He bought into it and he knew I was doing a little bit of theatric work for him. So he goes, no, gee, calm down. So I said to the kid, you know, do what you got to do. I don't know why you're here. Why are you meeting these kids? Why are you meeting these are young, in their 30s. These are kids, man. What are you doing? He goes, oh, I got to do a quick deal. He says, well, I got it on me. So I turned around and said, you have what on you? He says, well, I bought the stuff down for him. He's buying, and he's telling me he has cocaine. I said, you have it on you now? Here? You walked in here with it? And he goes, yeah. Get out of here. Get away from my table. I don't know you. I never met you. Now I'm acting like a real gangster. And I go, I never met you. I don't know who you are. So if anybody's listening to this, I don't know who you are. Get away from my table. I don't know you. Get out of here. And then my partner buys into it. And he goes, gee, relax. He says, this guy, I vouch for him. He's okay. You vouch for him? He goes, yeah, I vouch for him. So we did this whole theatric. And this kid, I said, all right, if you vouch for him, then, you know, then fine. I said, but I'm not going back to the can. If I go back to jail, Nick, it's for something I did, not for him. I said, you have it on you here? He says, yeah. And as this little Italian waitress is walking by, now again, I would never do this in my real life. I snap at her and I go, hey, sweetheart, come here. She stops in her tracks as my wife would look at me and, are you talking to me? And I go, yeah, you know them things, them bags that you put the food in to go, like, you know, to take with you? A to-go bag? I said, yeah, go get me one of them. And she goes, all right. She comes back, literally throws it at me on the table as she walks by. And I said, now I got to apologize. I said, sweetie, I'm sorry I snapped at you. I said, here. Now I went from Mr. Nice Guy, smiling, apologizing for my actions, to turning this way and being a complete devil. And my persona changed. I stared at him. I said, here, under the table, put it in a bag. And I dropped a couple of F-bombs. I called him some names. And I just belittled him because he was a terrible drug dealer. That's if I go to jail. Here, put it in here. Give it to me. Don't give it to him. Give it to me. If I go to jail, it's because I did something wrong. And I'm saying it over and over and over. Well, this guy took that story and that night and went back up north to North Jersey to the DeCavalcante crime family and told them, last night we went and we had dinner with these two Bruno Scarfo guys, the Philly mob guys. We met them down at Atlantic